Hey there, we're Talia and Ophira Edut, identical twins and astrologers. Welcome to AstroTwins Radio, where we bring the stars down to Earth. Happy December, everyone. It's the week of December 2nd to 8th, and a very busy week in the skies for us. Birthday week for me and Ophi this Monday, December 2nd. We're turning in inverse 25, as I like to say it. 25 again, baby. Doesn't matter what order you put the numbers in, right? Every age brings its own unique and fun and powerful energy. Like, I just wouldn't go back. I just wouldn't. And I think this is the age that Jennifer Lopez was when she stood on the yacht in that famous red bikini with Ben Affleck cradling her in his arms. Probably not going to be celebrating that way. Definitely not. It's deep into Mercury retrograde this week. We have been waging through it since 25th. I actually took a flight to and from Detroit for a very quick trip. I just spent time with family. Sorry, friends, I didn't make plans. I know, but it was super quick. Our dad's turning 80 on 12/12, and we did a little celebration together. I saw Gladiator 2 with him. Because I play the role of the son he never had. Not that you have to be a man to enjoy Gladiator. In fact, it wasn't the fight scenes that I was loving. There was some damn good eye candy in that movie. And then I saw Wicked with my sister Leora, my parents, my niece Cariel. Ways to keep subject matter veering away from anything fraught or political. Just all for the best, to utilize the mute button with Mercury retrograde temporarily. No one's muting this Sag, but sometimes you got to pick and choose. Timing is everything. So hopefully Mercury retrograde did not wreak havoc on any of your travel plans or family gatherings. I think maybe we should all just kind of take a break from utter chaos and stress and enjoy the calm before the storm. Now, this week is a busy one in the skies. It begins already on Monday, our birthday, woohoo, with a Venus-Uranus trine. This happens a couple times a year. Venus in Capricorn is trine Uranus in Taurus. So that can bring an unexpected energy to your day-to-day activities, even with work. If you want to finish the year strong, lean into some of those Uranian innovations. Is there an app for that? Is there project management software? Could ChatGPT or another AI tool be your best friend? Now, Venus is the planet of love and romance. In Capricorn, it's that traditional, I wouldn't say withholding, but a cooler, level-headed approach to love. An elegant little surprise can go a long way to rev up romance if you want. Monday might be a day to pick up a pair of tickets to go see a play or a live show, or even start looking at your New Year's plans already. You don't have to be this complete ascetic during Mercury retrograde and be like, oh, I'm not going to buy a ticket to anything. No, plan ahead, get your seating, get everything figured out. It's actually a good time to check in with anyone that you're going to be celebrating with on Monday and bring a little bit of fun and adventure and playfulness to it. Now, Wednesday, Mercury retrograde does its first of a few connections this week. It's going to be opposite Jupiter and Gemini. Wednesday is not the day to go full on blurting, posting, even reading the comments if you know you're going to get triggered. Jupiter's retrograde until early February, but it's retrograde 4 months of the year. Mercury retrograde, opposite Jupiter retrograde, the planet of communication with the outspoken, brash, no limits planet of Jupiter. You can only imagine. Now, this is perhaps a day for digging around in your archives. Do you have a writing project or some kind of an idea that you set aside, an entrepreneurial idea. It might be a good idea to do a little competitive analysis, competitive research. Definitely, if you're concerned about any kind of data breaches, strengthen all your passwords. That goes without saying any day, but goes triple with Mercury retrograde. And when it's opposite Jupiter, be careful what you say, who you trust. This could be one of those days where some charismatic, gossipy person pulls you into just like hate bonding over someone. But the sun is also squaring authoritative Saturn that day. So bitching about the boss, venting about a relative, all of that could come back round to haunt you. If you are going to send anything snarky, don't do it in a group thread. Thursday, too, Mercury retrograde actually syncs up with the sun in Sagittarius. So that's also going to illuminate some of this. Now, look, I don't want to be a fear mongerer. Last week I said we were going to try to rebrand Mercury retrograde. So this week, for sure, it's a good time to do reactivities, review, refresh, reunite, revise, reconsider, and bigger projects that you want to finish the year strong with, like I said. We'll get a good burst of momentum for doing some of the behind the scenes, backstage, editing and refining. But definitely get a second pair of eyes on your work. If you're listening to the pod already on Sunday, December 1st, we're putting it up a day early this week, because why not, An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of Mercury retrograde cure. And besides, Monday's my birthday, and I don't know. A Monday birthday, not going to be doing so much, but probably not a recording day, right? I'm mani-pedi, something I'm prepping to go to New York the next day. Just traveling like a fiend during Mercury retrograde, ignoring all the warnings. And again, there's so much fear-mongering around Mercury retrograde. It deserves respectable amount of risk awareness, but terror and hiding out for 3 weeks. No. The point I was making, and I do have a point, was that Sunday, December 1st is the new moon in Sagittarius. So that could mitigate a little bit of the Mercury retrograde slowdowns. December actually is 2 new moons. It has one on the 1st in Sagittarius, and then a second one on December 30th in Capricorn. So 2 new moons in a month are called, the Capricorn one, the second one is called a black moon. 2 full moons in a month, the second one is a blue moon. So blue moon is a full moon, a black moon is a new moon, which kind of makes sense because the sky is dark during a new moon. So we have this new moon in Sagittarius, Sunday the 1st, that's already bringing a little bit of a launch pad. It's getting us thinking about new initiatives. But Mercury retrograde is saying, that's great. Don't hit go and start buying domain names and equipment and printing business cards and all that. Just start actually getting an idea of what resources you're going to need, how much time it's going to take to pull it off, what it's actually going to cost. Think it through. There's more reason for that because on Friday's a big day. Well, first, Mercury retrograde does one more dance with another planet after teaming up with the sun on Thursday to kind of shine a light on every miscommunication, untruth, wrong information, could also reveal some global scandals. It's going to square authoritative Saturn in Pisces on Friday. That's a day where leadership could come out of left field with some things that make you go, honestly, I don't know. I keep thinking that Joe Biden and Kamala are cooking some things up. I know they're appointing a lot of judges, but I feel like there's going to be some kind of surprising move coming from a leader towards the end of the week, a world leader. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the United States, but this is a clashing energy. This is somebody who doesn't want to play by the rules. We have a lot of those. This is the season of the authoritarian for some reason. I'm chalking it up to Chiron in Aries, the North Node in Aries. We're just seeing this abuse of power happening all over the globe. Mercury retrograde in global Sagittarius is exacerbating that this week. But we could also get a glimpse into it, but with the retrograde, things are being buried below the surface. We may not find out about these things until later, but behind the scenes, and even at your job or in your family, watch out for some power plays. The Sun and Saturn are both ego-tripping power mongers at their worst. So because they're in cahoots with Mercury retrograde, some of those old triggering family dynamics that maybe didn't show up during Thanksgiving could start to fray the seams, and you want to make sure to do any damage control or prep that needs to happen if you're traveling for Christmas or Hanukkah or the New Year's, Kwanzaa or whatever. But that's not the biggest news of the day. Friday also is a day that Mars joins the retrograde brigade. Mars turns retrograde every 18 to 24 months. Mars was last retrograde at the end of 2022 into the beginning of 2023, and that one was in Gemini. This time, Mars retrograde is going down in Leo from December 6th to January 6th, and then in Cancer from January 6th to February 23rd. And then it goes direct in Cancer all the way until April 18th, which means the first quarter of 2025, Mars, the planet of combat and anger, is going to be in Cancer, the sign of the woman, of feminine power. It's not happy in Cancer. It's actually in fall in Cancer. It's happiest in Cancer's opposite sign of Capricorn, but that doesn't mean it's completely disempowered or derailed. That actually makes sense with the timing. We're going to get the Trump administration and all of the Project 2025 nominees and JD Vance coming into office, none of whom are friends to the modern woman. So get ready, armor up, gals, because we are going to have a fight on our hands. Now, before that, Mars is going retrograde in Leo. Leo being our rulers, our kings, our queens, our royals, could also bring some unexpected developments. Like, I don't even know who's going to be in the White House on January 20th still. I'll be honest with you. This could be the period where people are speculating that Joe Biden might step down and make Kamala the president for the last couple months. I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think it would have to really take something like extreme, because he's a Scorpio. He is not letting go until he has to. He wants to be in control. He wants to be in command, and he wants to finish the job in that obsessive Scorpio way. She's a Libra with a Gemini rising in an Aries moon. So even though she's ready with that Aries moon to be in charge, she's going to be that gracious, accommodating partner and not force her way in with that chart. That's my take on it. I still do think Mars retrograde in Leo from December 6th to January 6th could bring some surprises. On the personal front, Mars going retrograde in Leo is not the time to stage anything dramatic. You want to do your very best to not fan the flames if you're having a conflict with someone, or not pump up the competitive energy to the point where it gets cutthroat. This is not the time to trigger an enemy. And on Saturday, Venus is moving into Aquarius, Venus and Mars being counterparts in the love and lust game, the yin and yang game, and they'll be opposite each other for the rest of the month. Venus has been in Capricorn for the last few weeks, more traditional energy. Now it moves into Aquarius, which is this experimental, universal love energy. So while Mars in Leo is going to be passionate, possessive, a little jealous, I'm very glad that Venus, even though an opposition can be a tense alignment, I'm very glad it's going to be in level-headed, rational Aquarius, because we're going to need to lean into that objectivity. Probably won't happen on Saturday because Venus is going to bang into Pluto. So that's going to be an intense day. Just hold off on those intense conversations, those heart-to-hearts. Venus conjunct Pluto, you're going to get a strong wave of feeling, an epiphany, but you probably won't be able to say it in a way that doesn't sting or feel like a below-the-belt slug for somebody. So watch that. The Sun and Jupiter are connecting that day. They are going to be opposite each other. Oh, the Sagittarius Sun, big, bold, outspoken, worldly. Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, creating mixed messages. You may have this impulsive urge to blurt things out with the Sun opposite Jupiter. Hard to know where that too much line lies this weekend. You're going to have all kinds of thoughts. Vent to friends, write them down. Don't keep them inside. It's going to be really hard to not analyze. It's just about choosing your audience wisely, or maybe your audiences, because you may have so much to ruminate on and say that you could wear a best friend or a sister out with just like obsessively talking about that same thing. So be mindful, okay? Saturday also has Neptune turning direct. Neptune and all the outer planets. That's Jupiter on retrograde for nearly half the year. Jupiter is 4 months every year. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto do 5 months. Chiron, which isn't a planet, but practically is these days, is also retrograde for 5 months every year. So since July 2nd, Neptune has been retrograde in its home sign of Pisces. That's just kept us deeper in a fog. Neptune in Pisces might as well always be retrograde. I'm kind of joking, but it's like this giant fog machine, but this very spiritual transit that we've been in since 2011. Guess what? Next year, Neptune's changing signs. And if you have our 2025 horoscope book, maybe you got it on Black Friday. By the way, we have some great deals going still for Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday. So get your books this week, guys. This is the week to do it. If you haven't yet, your 2025 horoscope guide or your zodiac planner, we've got some awesome bundles. You can get the big book with all the signs for sharing. Sharing is caring, or just your signs, or 3-pack of zodiac planners that are focused on one specific sign. Get it for your sun sign or your rising sign. People keep asking which one. Honestly, we wrote them for your sun sign. The sun is the center of these whole sign horoscopes for us. Other people like to go with rising. If you feel more akin to your rising sign, then read that. Or get the big book and then you can check both. Or get 2 planners and then you can check both. We have bundles for that too. Anyways, Neptune, we talk about extensively in the book, is actually moving into Aries on March 30th of 2025. It hasn't been there since 1875. And that's a major shift. Neptune, this foggy, dreamy planet that rules the last sign. In Aries, this action-oriented, initiating sign. The first sign is going to be a very different vibe. Neptune in Pisces has brought so much awakening to the world since this transit began back in April of 2011. I mean, look at how much we've grown. Like, were people doing plant medicine ceremony? They doing psilocybin on their corporate retreats? No, they weren't. We've had the addiction and opioid crisis. Pisces also and Neptune also can rule addiction. Even the explosion of popularity of astrology and tarot and metaphysics is very much in alignment. The last time we had Neptune in Pisces in the 1800s dovetailed with the spiritualism movement, when people used to have seances at their houses. I have a funny little story about that. When I first moved to Seattle, I mean, I feel like the this place picked me. The address was 111 First Avenue. It was this really cool loft down in the Pioneer Square neighborhood on First Avenue and Yesler. Wound up moving to Seattle because my husband Corey worked at Microsoft, and I didn't want to make him quit his steady job there when he was there. So I was like, okay, I'll just come try it out. So we moved into this apartment I didn't know anything about. I looked up Henry Yesler. He was one of the builders of Seattle. Turns out he has the same birthday as me, December 2nd. I did a little deeper research. I didn't even have to dig that far. I think it was in Wikipedia. Found out he lived on First Avenue in Yesler, same as me. And he was a spiritualist, polyamorous. I guess his wife had a female lover, and he had a friend who was an astrologer, and they would do spiritualist ceremonies right there on that very same corner where I found a loft on Craigslist and snapped it up because, well, it had 15-foot exposed brick ceilings in one room, and I would never have been able to live in a place like that in New York. It was like $1,500 a month. And also 111 First Avenue, it just seemed like such a sign with that number. So Henry Yesler, maybe a guide of mine, certainly an astro twin. And I have no idea why I started telling you guys this story. Can I blame it on Mercury retrograde? I'm not going to edit this out because, well, it was a good story. Oh yes, Neptune and Pisces. That's right. So that was a demonstration of Neptune and Pisces, how it just envelops you in a fog. So the fog is lifting a little bit now. It's still a misty time with Neptune and Pisces. When it moves into Aries, it's going to be a little more of that spiritual energy put into action. When Neptune moved from Pisces to Aries time in the 1800s, 1862, we were at the beginning of the Civil War in the United States. That began in 1861 to 1865. So in some ways we are in a civil war. We're not using bayonets, we're using bots instead of bayonets, but one could argue that the divisions right now, not just in America, but around the world, there are so many civil wars raging. The Middle East is one giant civil war right now, and hopefully it'll clear up with Neptune and Aries. The arts moved from romanticism into realism. The beginning of modern art began with Neptune and Aries, where people started painting not just the woman with the heaving bosom, lying, having a splendor in the grass moment, but factory workers, people of color, all subjects that had not previously been featured. So let's see if there's a keep it real moment to counteract Pluto and Aquarius taking us into this alien vibe. We write all about it in the 2025 horoscope book. Feels so good to hand that off to the world after working on it and putting so much love into it for every single sign. Thank you to everyone. You can grab that right from our website, astrostyle.com, or use the link, astrostyle.com/Black Friday, and check out our bundles. You can save up to 85%, some of those deals. Good stuff there, friends. Okay, Sunday, because there's still one more day of action. Like every freaking day this week has an intense transit. No rest for the astro geeks. So Sunday is a waxing quarter moon in Pisces. A chance to integrate Neptune turning direct. So quarter moon in Pisces, balancing energy, reality checks that aren't too harsh. This could be a good day to do a little bit of a detox, whether you're decluttering your space, purging stuff from your inbox, or even doing a one-day fast or a food-based cleanse, or going to a sauna. Pisces rules your elimination system. Anything you can do, get the probiotics going, get your digestion and immune system back in shape. I think I'm going to pop a probiotic myself right after I finish this. I'm recording post-Thanksgiving. In Michigan, we still eat stovetop stuffing and cranberries from the can some years, and I have a love for the stovetop stuffing. My mom made leftovers before I took off, and she put like literally half the plate was stovetop. I was like, Mom, what's this? But do you think there was a morsel of fluffy, dried sage breadcrumbs hydrated in boiling water left on that plate? Absolutely not. So anyways, welcome to December, everyone, and wishing everyone a not too frenetic week ahead. You have the roadmap, you know what's coming, and make sure you snag those Cyber Monday deals. We're just keeping the same link up, astrostyle.com/Black Friday. Get in there and you'll get a free ticket to our webinar as well as all the hotspot dates of the year, a little calendar plus. It'll put them all on your Google Calendar. So you'll get a little pop-up reminder every time there's a new moon or a retrograde or eclipse. There's something happening. Most days will be in your pocket and in the stars, little satellites beaming down to you. Happy December, everyone. We'll be back next week with more. As always, thanks for listening. You can discover more of your star power at astrocell.com and be sure to follow us on social at AstroTwins. Join us next time for more cosmic fun.